Okay, I'm gonna try to explain my whole setup in 10 minutes, which might not be possible, but we're gonna try. I'm gonna be jumping back and forth between this Microtech Geffel microphone and my cell phone audio, so the voice might sound a little weird. So I'm using a couple DAWs here. The main DAW I'm using to record is SSL's Soundscape, and I'm using this as a virtual mixer tape machine thing, and these are all sends to the effects. These are some of the effects that I'm commonly using. Capitol Verb, which is based on the Capitol Records chambers in their basement, which were big concrete chambers. A couple lexicons, an AMS, Eventide reverb, an Eventide distortion that I put on the Zox box, which is like a 303 clone, and a delay that I just use for general delays. So everything is being recorded into here, but this program has no MIDI sequencing, so I'm using Cubase, which you can see under all these plugins, and it's currently running Stepic, which I'll show you over here. So the MPC is sequencing all the hardware and it's synced to Cubase. So I can start it here. And this is the 5U modular synthesizers.com. And I'm sequencing it here through this program Stepic, which is a really great sequencer. You can see all these lights are randomly jumping around. So you can have your octaves jumping and your velocity and your notes. And I'm sending this through MIDI through a Roland MPU 101. And there's two Stepics here running to two channels of the MPU 101 to do all this stuff to the modular. So one of the Stepics is also clocking this Korg SQ1, which is sequencing a Behringer 2600. And this is all in sync with the drums from the MPC. And then for bass duties, I'm usually using the Moog Source and the Behringer Pro 1, which is a Sequential Circuits Pro 1 clone. So they sound like this. The low one is the Moog Source. And I got some Nord going as well. These are two clock channels being sent to, one is being sent to the monopoly arpeggiator. So I turn this on. And the other one is being sent to this tap tempo LFO. So it has a multiplier where I can get some synced divisions. Another way I'm getting synced LFOs is through this Roland SBX1 box here. It's sending a synced LFO to the Boomstar. Just doing this sound. So all these synths are going to either, I don't know if you can see that light, the green light. This is a Mackie hard disk recorder that I'm using just as converters. And that's going to this SSL Alpha Link gray box here. You can see the green light. And then that's going to the computer. So what else? This sequencer is synced MIDI from the MPC. It's going to the Delta. No. It's going to the Boomstar as well. The Delta is getting its modulation through this Fostex MIDI controller. And hold on. Okay, the Delta is getting its modulation through this MIDI controller, which is controlling another program that's behind here. Let me just switch it. So this is Voltage Modular, and it's running a bunch of LFOs out through a different sound card, through ADAT, through this little blue box here, being controlled by this MIDI controller. So I have one of the outputs. There's 4 CV outs from the computer total, and this is going to the Delta at the moment. So if I bring these down, and if I bring them up, so there's a bunch of knobs under here that I have set up to control these various parameters. Usually I have this sequencer over here. So what else is going on here? That's more or less it. The Simmons, I'm triggering a bunch of different ways, sometimes from the MPC, sometimes from the MPU 101. This clapper, I just hit it manually, usually. Sometimes I trigger it. The CS15 is almost permanently going through this Yamaha E1010 delay, which is from the same year, roughly, as the CS15. Might be the exact same year. So they pair really nice together. And then this phaser I have set up as a send, so I'm sending a bunch of stuff through it regularly, basses, strings, sound effects, different things. There's a couple of these MIDI selector boxes hidden around to just control all the outputs. The MPC only has 4 outs, so you have to split it up somehow. And I guess that's about it. There's a bunch of outboard over here, which I use for processing. This is a tape machine, which I use as a tape delay. The modular is going through these 2 URI filter sets, and a lot of the synths are going through preamps over here. And then there's a couple 80s rack synths up here and a drum machine, and some of these are going through this Revox mixer. Because out of inputs, I'm up to like 40 inputs or something like that. And this is just a MIDI controller. So that's pretty much the whole setup. Thanks for watching.